I've been having people ask me, a bunch of people asking me where to start, what to get, and generally how to get started flying scale FPV planes. So here we are. In this video, I'm going to show you from basically start to finish how to one, get what parts to get or what parts I use on all my scale FPV projects, the FC stack, VTX, GPS, head tracker, gimbal, and two, how to install your basic components like into your scale plane. And like what a scale plane is, it's not like a wing. It's like an actual like airplane-y airplane with landing gear and all that stuff. What kinds of planes are compatible with this type of like FPV like head tracking. So like you have like a little head tracking module here, it attaches to the goggles, and you go, woo, you know, you turn your head in every direction, and then the camera moves. I'm not going to be going into like micro planes like this one. I'm not going to be going into stuff like this because I've already done a few videos on that already, and there'll be like a link like right there or over there. I don't know. That's for future me to figure out. Number three, basic setup of iNAV and how to make your FPV head tracking work, in addition to some like basic setup of your plane. I'm not going to do the whole thing. It's going to be abbreviated, and like any extra questions you have, I'll direct to my Discord, which is linked in the description below. But there's already a bunch of other YouTubers that I'll list here because I forgot them, trying to think of this. My fucking ADHD brain. Damn it, I knew Painless 360 is one of them. On how to do like most of the other stuff. So it's gonna be a little abbreviated. And then four, some tips and tricks for keeping your VTX cool, and some like general building advice. So stick around. I think this video is gonna be fun. Like I said, a bunch of people asked me to make it, and here I am, making it now. And I'm gonna use my F14 project as the example for this. So, all right, hell yeah. Number one, how to. A couple of the parts that I use and I found that work for me. I'm running everything on ELRS. You can run it on TBS or actually, I can't think of any other link that you could use. I use my my Boxer radio for all my planes. This is my plane radio because it's got all the extra switches, which you're gonna want. You're gonna want a bunch of switches, at least like 10 channels. And I know it sounds like a lot, but that's where my FC stack choice comes in. There's a Speedy B F405 wing. I use the big one, but I think you could probably use a smaller one. I think you just get less. You get less channels for your project. But yeah, BDB is the one that I like. I've used it in a bunch of my planes of 3 that I've built now. The VTX, I personally like to use DJI. It is the 03 unit. There's some controversy with that because when you're using DJI, you do need to get a separate head tracking unit. If it will zoom there. If it will focus, damn you. There we go. No, not me, focus on that. Yeah, so this is a little Arduino thing that you can actually build yourself if you want to. I personally am lazy, and I bought this from on the Motion Sick RC website, and I forget what the head tracker is called. I apologize, Motion RC, if you're watching this. But this just attaches to your goggles because even though the goggles too have head tracking built into it, they don't talk to anything other than DJI like Mavics and shit, which is stupid. I do prefer this because I want the good DVR. I want the good onboard for like recording purposes. But if you're just going out and flying and not worrying about any dumb like video stuff, you know, you can use whatever you want. HD0, if you wanted to, because HD0 goggles have built-in head tracking in them. And to be honest, I almost used HD0 instead of DJI simply because it was already built in. But I decided in the end that I needed, I wanted that extra video that extra video quality. Good Lord. GPS, you're gonna want a good GPS. Any one will work really. I like the fancy ones that, what's it called? MacLink, Mavlink? I'm drawing a blank. What the heck? I can't think of what it's called. Anyways, good. You're gonna want a GPS simply because in your OSD, nice to have a home location just in case you need it. You're flying around, you know, you're in a plane, and also it's fun to see how fast you're going. It's also nice to see how fast you're going too, for things like keeping airspeed when you're landing. So you know like exactly how fast you're going. You can keep it in that range so you don't stall, especially on the jets that I fly. You kind of got it needs to be power the entire time you bring it down. So, but the gimbal that I like to use is the Motion Sick bag, aka badass gimbal. The guy over at guys over at Motion Sick have literally built from the ground up custom servos, so they're already set up to work with this head tracker that they sell. So it's a little bit easier to put them both together. And the servos are digital metal, all metal servos, and they are super smooth. The resolution is awesome. That's it for parts. Number two, installation of basic components in your scale plane. There's a couple things. There's a couple ways you can do this. And the way that I've been doing it, most of my experience is with free wing. Good Lord. Free wing airplanes, and I really like them. They're my favorites. So I can't really speak on other aircraft, but from my experience with the free wing airplanes, they usually come installed with a little control box, which is basically just a Y harness for all the servos. So it makes it really easy to just plug into an FC. You don't got to worry about having a bunch of Y harnesses to plug into your FC. If you wanted to delete that, you totally could. Some of them have gyros on them, but you can just get rid of that because you're going to have a gyro on your flight controller that you're going to want to use instead anyways. So because of all this extra equipment, there are some limitations. If you want full like pan and tilt head tracking, you do have to fly like a bigger plane. Especially with the jets. If you want to do a jet, I'd say 70 millimeter is like the bare minimum. My 64 millimeter F14, a bunch of people said that it couldn't be done, like you couldn't fit the gimbal in there. Even Motion 6 said they couldn't. Obviously I did, I made it work. But to make things easier, I recommend like literally like trainer aircraft. Like any plane, like any like Cub is gonna be good to start off. But if you want to get more into like the scale planes, you're definitely gonna want to make sure that the canopy where like the little guy sits, little guys like this sit in there, you're gonna want to make sure that's big and spacious enough. I recommend the Bayhawk as like a starter platform if you want to get into it. It's nice, big, spacious. You don't got to worry too much about it. You know, you can use that. That's a great example. The way you're gonna want to like install the components, you're gonna want to be aware of like the weight of everything. Basically, you're gonna try to keep everything as close to the center of the CG, the center of gravity on the plane as possible. You can't always do that, but luckily Luckily, a lot of the batteries are these big chonkers. Like this is, look how big that is compared to the size of my head. So you can use this as a good weight distributor to fix your CG of all the extra added weight with the gimbal and the camera and the VTX and all that. So don't worry too much about that. The biggest thing that you're going to want to think about is cooling off the VTX, especially if you have it underneath a canopy for that like scale, you know, feeling. I really like having it under the glass, so to speak, because I do like feeling like I'm in the canopy, and it gives you a spatial awareness. I don't know what that is. Anyways, you can tell where the plane starts and where the sky begins. You're going to want to have good ventilation, and I recommend getting one of these 5-volt like fans. They're for RC cars to like cool off the motors, but they work perfect as long as you have some good decent holes in the canopy to pull that cool air in, because you don't want your VTX to overheat while you're in mid-flight. But that's about it. As far as like installation goes, you're gonna have to. It's definitely DIY projects. But if you're already interested in this, I guarantee you, you're more than capable of, you know, doing a little bit of engineering on your own. This isn't like a tutorial on how to build the specific. This is more of like what parts and like what, you know, how I go about doing it. Number three, basic setup, iNAV, and head tracker. So I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to go over the entirety of iNAV. What I will do is I'll show you how I have my current plane set up and on my radio. The quick and dirty of iNAV. I'm going to power up my radio here.
Gear down, flaps up, wing sweep, manual mode.
Yeah, I have like little sounds on my radio. I highly recommend it if you want to do that. But basically, on the radio, which you can sort of see here, you see all the inputs, right? And then we're gonna scroll over here. Let's see if I can do this. Scroll over, and we see all our mixes right here. So basically what you're gonna do is in the past, you would do everything on the radio. But now you don't have to do that on the radio. You do it in iNAV. So basically think of iNAV as like an extension of your radio. And it's that simple. If you don't know how to like set up channels and mixes already, you're gonna have to look that up on YouTube, because there's a shitload of videos on how to do that. But basically, you're not gonna wanna worry too much about what you're doing on your radio, other than like setting up basic switches. Like, you know, you want to have set up all your switches. You're gonna want landing gear. You're gonna want flaps.
Take off, flaps down, landing, flaps down, flaps up.
And then I have different flight modes set up. So I have stabilized mode, which is using a gyro on the FC, which is very useful. And then manual mode. Although a lot of planes, you don't really even need it, but it is nice. And then obviously for my F14, I have wing sweep mode. And then you're also gonna wanna set up, I have, come on, focus, there we go. I also have a throttle cut. So that is off, that is on. Similar to a quad, just because like with planes, you're gonna wanna be able to test all your surfaces without accidentally, you know, sending your plane as a rocket ship by accidentally hitting the throttle. So I do recommend setting up throttle cut. One more thing. So this is the kind of the mysticism. I want to demystify how the head tracking works, and it's super simple. It's actually more simple than you think. There you go. So you see here I have pan and tilt on channel 7 and channel 7 and channel 8. So channel 7 is pan, channel 8 is tilt. And what the TR means in there, it's trainer mode. So what you do is, and you do need a radio, you're gonna need a radio that has a trainer port. This DCS port right there. So you're gonna need that, because what you do is you plug your head tracker in. You plug your head tracker in here. There's a little 1/4 jack or whatever. That plugs in to the radio, which it's not going to focus, but that plugs into there. So then what it does is the head tracker sends servo signals to those two channels, and that's basically all it does. So it's calibrated, and then what the trainer mode, it'll since there's nothing on those channels other than those two servos, so it'll move the servos just like you would on like a pot, like a slider. Same concept. Move, and then the channel has a value, and that's why I bought the head tracker, mostly the head tracker and the other gimbal together, because they're already set up to like work with one another. So I do recommend those. And like again, I don't have like affiliate links or anything, but I will put links in the description of all this stuff if you want to buy it. Again, I don't get anything from it, but yeah, that's a basic setup, and I'm not going to go through, like I said, the whole entire iNAV setup. You can go watch Painless 360 to learn how to set up iNAV. Number 4, tips, tricks, and general building advice. The biggest thing I can recommend, like I said before, is using a fan. You 100% want a fan, and you want to make sure you have ample ventilation in the canopy. Sometimes you got to cut out the front of the canopy, like I did my F14, just because I could not get enough airflow in there, and the O3 unit was overheating after like 2.5 minutes. So generally I'm getting like 3.5, 4-minute flights, so it's not good. And then some general building advice. I recommend that you get a bunch of foam safe glue, and you want to 100% sure you have foam safe glue, because I made the mistake early on and I got regular glue and it ate half of a fuselage. Luckily it was a small plane, it wasn't one of my big ones, but that was a big lesson learned. So do not skimp out on good foam safe glue. Another like general advice is keep in mind the CG of the plane the whole time. You're going to want to try to keep everything as center in the plane as possible. Sometimes you can't. Sometimes like the FC's got to sit a little over to the side or like to fit. That's okay as long as you calibrate the FC properly. Like it won't matter that much. But as far as like keeping the center of gravity of the plane like in the center, so trying to place everything as centered as possible will make the plane fly a lot better. Honestly, that's about it. Like other than like it is the most fun thing that it's like so fun. It's super fun. I'm gonna go out to the field, and I'm meeting up with my homies. He brought his cargo plane, and I'm gonna fly the F14 with all my little tweaks I did since the last time. All right, I'm here at this spot. It's like this little proving ground area. So I got the jet. Obviously, we are out here. And yeah, so I'm just gonna wait a minute. I have my friend slash spotter that'll be here. So when I'm up in the air, we got eyes on the plane. It's not a great idea to go out and fly FPV planes by yourself, just in case. You know, you got to have a spotter. For them's the rules. Them's the rules. All right, hell yeah. Go forward. Then we're gonna go to the end of the runway here. It is a beautiful day to fly. Not too worried about the GPS right now. It's okay. All right. Do all our checks, get lined up here. All right, so
The wings are back, so let's put them back in regular mode.
Normal.
All right. Flaps work. Flaps work. Looking good. Okay, all right. I'm gonna reset this one more time here. Let's put takeoff flaps down. And let's send it. Beautiful. All right, gear up. Flaps up. Oh yeah. This is a dream. I got the CG set a little bit behind. That is not correct. I'm not 500 feet in the air. Let's do a roll. Oh yeah. Beautiful. This is just beautiful. Here it comes. Bring her down a little bit. Yeah, this is the correct CG for this plane, 100%. Especially now that I'm a little more used to flying her. We're just cooking. And the weather is perfect. I told y'all last time that this plane just needed some nice weather. Alright, so we're getting a little low in the battery, so we're going to go ahead and bring it in for a landing. We get a nice approach here. Put the gear down. Landing flaps down. Okay. We need a little bit more approach on that. Gear is down. Gear is down, confirmed. Whoop. This plane does want to drop a wing if you let it go a little too slow, so it's okay. I'm aware of that, so we keep it up. You gotta bring this jet in, especially with the extra weight with the FPV stuff. You gotta bring it in nice and slow. Alright, here we go. This is a good approach. Coming down, coming down. Alright, come down. Nope. Go around. It's okay. Whoop. That was my bad. Alright. Next, this will be it. Should be a nice good approach here. Nice and long. But don't bank too hard, because you will drop a wing. Just trying to do it right there. It's okay. This is a good approach here. Alright. Bring it back. Bring it back. Nope. Nope. It's our last chance. Oh. Gotta be careful because it doesn't want to drop that wing. Okay. Battery is getting low, it's okay. Got this. Okay. Throttle up a little bit in the turn. Yep, it's okay. Alright, here we go. This is it. Flare, flare. Off.
There. Bouncy, bouncy.
It's okay.
It's here. Good.
A little bouncy, and that's it. That battery is dead. That is it. That's how the basic gist of FPV, scale FPV. Obviously that landing, I'm still working on it. because you're really landing this without instruments like a real plane. So I flared it, but I still came down a little too hard. With this particular jet, this model, and the real life model, you have to land with throttle. Normally, you can cut the throttle completely, but on like other planes, but this one needs speed the whole way down. And I think I did a pretty good job today. I have the landing flaps set up with 30% down on the elevator, so it'll come down nice and smooth. But yeah, also today's a perfect day. But if you enjoyed the video, do subscribe, and I have a Patreon and a Discord. And if you have any questions about any more of the specific stuff about installing all this FPV equipment in an RC aircraft that's not necessarily built for that, just shoot me a message on Discord. And yeah, and I hope to see more people get into this, because this is like super fun. Okay, all right, bye.